Better luck next year.
Hello, and welcome everybody to the very first edition of Better Luck Next Year. My name is Mark Mahoney, and I will be alongside Max Mannix and Alan Just on the ones and twos here. And we are starting what will probably be the most entertaining sports potpourri podcast you've ever heard, or it'll be 30 minutes of your life that you're never going to get back. So I'm going to kick it over to Alan and let him introduce himself a little bit.
Well, thanks, Mark. I'm really happy that we're getting together and doing this, guys. I think that it's been a long time coming. I mean, the sports banter that we put together on a daily basis is clearly a cut above the rest, and that's what everybody's going to get as they listen in weekly to Better Luck Next Year. Of course, Better Luck Next Year is where we are always looking ahead to better times because I suppose by definition, currently we're not in the best of times. They were the best of times, they were the worst of times. My name is Alan, as Mark mentioned, and I come from Minnesota. I've been in Seattle for just under 2 years now. We do work in the sports industry, all three of us, and so we get some inside information from time to time that you might just be privy to if you keep listening to us. This is my first podcast. We are all a part of and sponsored now by the other website that I manage, popcornmoviereview.com. So along with sports, one thing you'll definitely be hearing is some movie information from time to time. So it's a little bit about me. Max, why don't you take it away and at least introduce everybody to yourself.
Thank you, Alan. Moving on from sports to athletes. Hello, everyone. My name is Max Mannix, and I attended the Gonzaga Prep High School. I ran a 40 time of 4.52 at Washington State Camp. Born in Seattle. Been waiting for a championship my whole life. Sorry, Storm, you don't count. Mark, back to you.
All right, and so I would just going to tell you guys more about our sports background a little bit. I played football, basketball, and ran track. You don't really play track because it sounds ridiculous. And then I also played college football. Pretty big deal, but not really, at the NAI level. 2 national championships.
Where'd you play at, Mark?
Carroll College, home of the Fighting Saints.
Dynasty!
So the NAI, they issue scholarships?
They do.
They do.
We like to call ourselves the non-athletes in action over there at the NAIA. Not full scholarships, and I didn't have a full scholarship anyway. Alan, a little bit about your sports background.
Well, one thing that our listeners might want to check out is our bios on the website, betterlucknextyear.wordpress.com. You can check out our beautiful faces as well as a little bit about ourselves, as well as the motto of the show. But my sports background, well, it ended at a young age. Let's just say that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was one of those athletes that was the best on the field. Till about 13, 14, and then shortly after that, my career went downhill as the other children grew bigger and stronger than I was, and when I went off to college, I kept going in some intramurals, and a couple knee surgeries later, I barely play beer league softball anymore. So that's my background.
You'll always have those years. No one's going to take those from you.
Yeah, folks, Alan peaked a little too early, but Max is hitting his stride right now. Let me tell you, Mark and I play on our flag football team together.
How many touchdowns did you score this year?
I'm not a numbers guy. I threw 36 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. But
as you read off your stat line.
No. Mark, let's get into our first question here of the night.
Not so much a question, but more of a segment. We're going to jump over to the MLB playoffs right now, which our local Seattle Mariners are not in for the 12th straight year.
We're talking playoffs, not World Series.
Playoffs.
Yes. Since 2002.
Well, they've never made it to the World Series. There's only 2 teams in all of Major League Baseball. Can you name them? Other than the Mariners. Who's the other one?
Nationals.
Nationals, Expos. That is correct.
I was going to say Expos.
So right now we have Cardinals, Red Sox. Cardinals they've kind of just been that Midwest team that no one cares about. Maybe you Alan could speak a little better too.
No, not me specifically, but personally. But I do have some friends that it's their number 1 team. They live and die by the Redbirds.
Well,
what other sports fans are they? Are they from Boston?
No, the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Excuse me.
The Cardinals are the Redbirds.
Don't follow sports.
Apparently not. I thought baseball was going to be your specialty.
I have 3 or 4 friends that are Cardinals fans too. None of them from the Midwest.
Well, this guy's, I'm specifically speaking about my friend Becker's from Iowa.
Okay.
So I'd give him that.
Cardinals, where bad players turn into Hall of Famers. Just unreal.
It's got to be something with the arch. It's got to be something they put in the water.
They are everything that the Mariners are not.
Oh.
Every time they lose a good player, they have a new all-star just coming. It's unbelievable. Where the Mariners are like the 4A team, where we have our players like Beltre is a perfect example. Sucks here, goes to Boston, is awesome. Then he goes from Boston to Texas.
Well, you're forgetting his MVP season before he came to Seattle.
Was he an MVP when he was with the Dodgers?
MVP-like season. Yeah, he was second or
If
third.
Major League Baseball was the porn industry, the Seattle Mariners would be the fluffers. They're the guys
absolutely.
they're the guys that get everybody ready backstage for the main event.
Yeah, big time.
It's going to happen.
So, World Series, we'll go over quick because no one cares because we're not in it. Red Sox, Cardinals, I say anybody, please anybody but the Red Sox. So I'm going Cardinals in 6.
Okay. I'll take the Red Sox in 7. Boston strong. Wainwright's not going till Game 5. A lot of rookies and young guys pitching for the Cardinals. I don't think they have it in their lineup. They don't have the bats to contend with the Pedroias, the Ortizes. I just think Red Sox here.
As we speak, I believe the Cardinals is tied up 1-1. I like the Cardinals. But I do think it's going to go to Game 7. I think the Cardinals are going to take it in Boston. I had a question. Does the designated hitter in the World Series work like it does in interleague play?
Yeah.
It depends on the ballpark
Yeah.
pitch you're
So
at.
right now, the Cardinals have a designated hitter. When they go to St. Louis, the pitcher will have to hit.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
How many points do you get if you hit it over the Green Monster?
It's a 2-pointer, right?
Absolutely. It's a 2-pointer. And if you bounce it off, it is a ground rule double. Not true.
What if you catch it? If you catch it off the Green Monster, do you get second base?
It is actually a double play if you catch it off the green.
Double play,
Even
okay.
if there's 2 outs, they count that as a double play.
So it's 1-1. The next 2 or 3 goes back to St. Louis, Mark.
Obviously 3.
3. Okay. So they can win it at home.
So it's 2-3-2.
2-3-2.
I don't think they're not gonna sweep from here. They're not gonna lose the first game and then win the next 4.
I don't know. The Fenway Park has a factor in it. St. Louis Cardinals have never been to Fenway Park. Can you believe that?
They kept talking about that last night
Yeah,
with all those defensive errors.
I mean, I guess the park, it's really old. You got to get used to hitting on the monster. The crowd's on top
Pretty
of
electric crowd there.
It is, a bunch of massholes. I don't know that it should be that big of a difference, but anyway.
This is our city.
I was listening to a sports program earlier today. It may or may not have been on the four-letter network, but a program much inferior to ours, of course. They were listing the last 5, 6, 7 World Series, and the sportscast or the sports talk show host on that show didn't even have a single memory of any of them, and that was given the teams.
That's really bad.
Now, but he's a nationally syndicated sports talk host. Do you guys know who won the last 3 going back?
Last 3 going back, I know Giants beat the Tigers.
Okay.
Pablo Sandoval was the World Series MVP last year.
Okay.
2 years ago, Max, you want to jump in on that?
Yes, the Cardinals beat the Rangers in 2011, which will take me to 2010. Mark, name it.
David Freese, also the MVP in that year. And I believe the Giants won again in 2010.
Rangers. They beat the Rangers.
They did beat the Rangers. Who was the MVP of that series? Wasn't Edgar Renteria again, was
I
it?
don't know. Was Posey drafted by then?
I don't think he ever won MVP, though.
It had to have been Jeff Kent.
Either way, my point is you guys needed to pass it back and forth and help each other out to get through the last 3. As a sports fan, and I'm sure you guys could do this as well, but, I can go with... let's just go with the Super Bowls. Ravens won. Giants won. Packers won. Saints won. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you can
I know.
just go
Al,
on
you're
and
on such a
and
roll,
on
Al. Who
and
won
on.
the one before that? Or maybe the two before that?
Now, where was I? Was I back in... Because I started at the beginning, right?
The last one you said was the Packers.
So the Packers won in the first one.
Tell you what.
And,
Tell you
First
what. Who did the Buccaneers beat in the Super Bowl when they won?
Bucks, Gruden's team took over for Dungy. That was a good Super Bowl. You know, it was one of those defensive Super Bowls more than anything else. My initial, if I remember, it was
Gruden's
the Raiders.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
well
And
done.
I actually didn't look at that one.
That is very good.
I should have said that right away, and I would have gotten more credit for it.
Yeah. You got to let those wheels turn. So we are going to go ahead and exit from all that, and then we're going to go to what might be one of my favorite segments of our entire show, if we still have people listening. If they are, thanks, Mom and Dad. So it's Random Thought of the Week. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off, and we might talk about it. We might just leave you to ponder on it for a little bit. My random thought is, before toilet paper, how many cases of pink eye were there? Like, probably untold amounts of cases of pink eye. I don't know why that's not in the history books.
It's a random thought. It's not a random thought and an explanation, Mark. So I'll leave you to mine. What would happen if I hired two private investigators to follow each other? Al?
I'm going to read a quote and then provide you with my thought. A new book, Consumer Reports is now recommending that people sit back and wait a few weeks until the government fixes the problem. Really? A few weeks? When was the last time the government fixed anything in a few weeks? Jay Leno. When are people going to start to realize that Jay Leno is just expressing statements and not telling jokes?
Oh, his chin is ridiculous. So we'll let you guys think about that. We might put a pause here for a second. Let you think about that. I would really consider the Jay Leno, the pink eye thing. The other guy is just rude. So now we are going to go to our next segment, kind of go back to the NFL, and we have all the different lead broadcasters. We are going to decide who is the best and who is just the absolute worst. So we have the folks at the NFL Network, who, for my money, are just awful. Every game they show is terrible. It seems like I feel like if you close your eyes, it sounds like you're watching a high school game.
If I close my eyes, it would be like I had the spins after drinking. You don't have to name any of the other hosts. They are at the bottom of the list.
Does anybody know? You know the guy's name, though.
Mike Mayock.
You got beady eye, Mike Mayock.
Brad Nessler, who
Okay,
was
Nessler.
a hit in 2002.
Nestler, huh? So, are we all agreeing that the NFL.com or the NFL Network guys are the worst?
It's in a landslide.
You see, the thing is I do have a soft spot in my heart for Mayock because he is a through and true Vikings fan. So, whenever the Vikings do roll around on Thursday night, he does tend to kind of lean our way.
Thursday football is supposed to be fun, get you to Friday, but it just stresses you out.
Yeah. Thursday football's not doing anybody any good.
If I can speak on the second worst, because I think it's just, they are a mile ahead of everyone in the worst. Second worst, I think, is Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
Okay.
Anytime there's a game on CBS, I seriously want to gouge my eyes out and put them in my ears instead of listening.
Sim Spotlight doesn't do it for you.
Phil Simms always has to show a highlight of himself. It's the same
Okay.
one from the Super Bowl every time.
Would you rank Jim Nantz, this is the Masters, CBS, would he be down there too?
He does a great job in everything else. You pair him up with anyone other than Phil Simms.
Okay, what
Phil
about
Simms brings
Jim
him down.
Nantz and Clark Kellogg, national title, basketball?
Oh, yeah. I'll listen to that all day.
You see, I like Nance too, but I don't like him for football. And I was thinking about this. We may be taking in account the fact that none of our favorite teams play on CBS very often.
It is definitely an AFC-driven...
It's an AFC-driven. They've got those games. I mean, I believe that's in the contract even. And yeah, we're going to play AFC teams from time to time, and we're going to get a CBS game. My team usually isn't CBS's game of the week.
That's true.
So-
it's a lot of Ravens, Steelers.
So Broncos.
Broncos, whoever they're playing.
So we don't
Patriots.
see as much of these guys, but I don't love them, and I would also put them. You see, okay, maybe I can lead us into our next one.
Al, real quick, being a Vikings fan, when you were on CBS, did you get a little excited?
No, I'm not more excited to be on CBS than Fox. No,
Fox is just a better broadcast.
Fox is a better broadcast overall.
This is before the Seahawks were the top team in the NFC, but I loved when they were on CBS back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? No, I guess I'm completely unbiased when it comes to what network I'm on. I do find that I do believe Fox probably does a little bit better of a job, and I do like. So I guess I'm not unbiased. I do have an opinion on it.
Whatever gets me away from Dan Fouts on Fox, I will take.
No, I
See,
think
I don't know.
the worst is
I don't know which one he is.
I can't remember who it is.
Exactly.
It might be something Moose and Goose. Anytime they have Goose on the sidelines,
It's Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Kenny
Alongside Moose, I'm Kenny Albert. Let's throw it down to Moose.
A hot dog has been thrown on the field, Jim.
Back up to you guys.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but Goose used to be on the
Dallas
main-
Cowboys.
No, he used to be on the headliner. He used to be Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Goose on the sidelines.
Oh, was he?
And
Did I know that?
he was too annoying. He didn't want to be just the sideline guy. He wanted to be like the third.
Oh, he always wants
So
to
he'd always
shine.
butt in. So like these guys are up there doing their color, and Troy's giving the explanation, and he'd always butt in and say, "And the defensive tackle really had a good push right there," and he'd cut him off. So they traded that piece of shit out with Pam Oliver.
Do you think Moose, or no, it's Goose, right? Because it's
Goose.
Tony Saragusa. I think Goose has like a light that he triggers up in the booth, and Buck and Aikman are like, the light's on again, just ignore it.
Cut the mic. Cut the mic.
Ignore it. Goose is coming back. Goose, how are the chili dogs down there today? Oh, the chili dogs are great. I've had about 4 of them. Back up to you, Moose and Kenny.
Okay, so we got Mayock and Nestler at 5.
Hold on. On a side note, if you Google Kenny Albert, you know how it fills in the next words sometimes?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you Google does Kenny Albert, the next words in are have Down syndrome. And that's a fact.
How did you find that out?
Well, because we all assumed that he had Down syndrome.
No, that's not. I mean, that's. I'm
So
not
we
going to
Googled it one time and we were like, oh, somebody was already there. Somebody already beat us to this.
We're glad we're not alone. So I think now I'm going to jump ahead, but I think, in my opinion, Al Michaels and whoever he's with,
Chris Collins.
Colin.
Chris Collinsworth, are the best, and because it says so in the song, Carrie Underwood tells me that Al and Chris are the best on TV.
Faith Hill never said that.
Oh, she did.
She did.
She did say that,
Yeah.
and I know when it's in song, that can't be made up. So that has to be by
Yeah.
popular.
That is a
Gallup
good.
poll.
That's a very good reasoning.
So I think that, but John Gruden absolutely loves what he does. I mean, that guy. Sometimes when you listen to him and he's describing the play and he's talking about running sluggos, I half expect him to go up there and just be completely naked, drawing. You know.
So if you threw Al Michaels together with Gruden, do they become the best?
I think Al wouldn't be able to handle John. John's a bit of a handful.
So we all understand that each pair has the play-by-play and the color, right?
Oh yeah.
So the best color, are you saying, is Collie?
No. I would argue that Collinsworth and Michaels get the better games. That's why
There's
they're
no
the better
doubt about that,
announcers.
and a better broadcast.
If you put Tirico and Gruden on Sunday Night Football, I think you'd enjoy them more.
I don't think Carrie Underwood would be able to sing that Tirico and Gruden are the best on TV.
I'm saying, Collinsworth gets pretty
Tirico
bored.
and Gruden are the best on TV.
It doesn't really flow, does it?
You're right, it doesn't.
So I think your argument is terrible.
The only issue I have with Collinsworth is 8 out of 10 times when Al Michaels opens up the broadcast on Sunday nights and then they do a slow pan over to Collie. And 8 out of 10 times, he has a grin on his face like he was just nose deep in a pile of shit.
And have you ever noticed how he's never ready either? They always do the slow pan and the microphone's always down in his lap.
Oh, he always brings it up and he's always chuckling. Something funny just happened.
Oh.
God. Bob Costas could have been going on one of his halftime rants about some political issue, and Collinsworth, the collie pan, would be him smiling his ass off.
How misplaced is Bob Costas at anything?
He belongs at the Olympics, and only the Olympics.
And apparently presidential debates. The guy needs to just get off his high horse for 10 seconds.
Yeah, he should follow the once every 4 years rule.
All right.
We're completely skipping Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Well, we touched on him a little bit when I said that Goose used to be with him.
So can we number them in agreement or no?
Well, I think clearly, for what of these, there's 5. Obviously, the bottom's the NFL Network.
Yeah. Starting from the bottom, I agree.
Just a drinking game for Mike Mayock. I've watched this kid on tape.
Oh, Kid on Tape is unbelievable.
I've studied the film.
This
Is
Kid
it
on
really?
Tape.
Yes.
And if you ever watch it, he does
would be hammered in the first quarter.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
I say number 4 is CBS.
Okay. Jim Nantz.
I agree. Jim Nantz in Philly.
And I'm ready to go number 3, Fox.
I would agree with that. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. He is pretty good at not favoring the Cowboys. I'll give him that.
He does a great job. And he's not like all the other guys who have to talk about when they play all the time.
Joe Buck's a baseball guy.
Joe Buck is a baseball guy. So I think that puts me at ESPN number 2, Trico Suave, and Johnny effing Football Gruden.
I do disagree, but no reason to argue. I think that Fox, Buck, and Aikman are better than Tirico and Gruden. Gruden's just terrible. That guy doesn't say a bad thing about anybody.
No. He's terrible. Easy. Come on. He's got so much passion. He is the curse of the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, that's
the Gruden
true.
curse.
That's true. Well, so I guess I would argue just a little bit there, but hey.
I think that leaves us with a clear-cut number 1, thanks to Faith Hill and Carrie Underwood, leading us in to the fact that we've been waiting all day for Sunday night, and I don't think anyone ever is actually waiting for Sunday night.
I'm not going to disagree with Carrie.
So that, folks, is the first part of our segment. It's going to lead us into our break, and we do have one of our gold member sponsors, and Alan, who actually no relation to this guy, who's going to go ahead and tell us all about it.
Tonight during our break, we're going to feature one of the hottest new songs on your radio from the Brian Just Band. The local pages in Minneapolis, the city pages, claim that Brian Just's new album and the Brian Just Band itself is ready to transform from being that band you've heard about, which you may or may not have, to that band that makes it onto your playlist every single day. Let's listen to their latest track off of the album Enlightenment, titled Enlightenment. Let yourself listen. You are forgiven. Enter let yourself listen. You are forgiven.
All right, and we'd like to thank the Brian Just Band, one of our very first sponsors, along with Popcorn Movie Review. And what is that website?
PopcornMovieReview.com. www.popcornmoviereview.com for all of the latest theatrical release reviews. Anything that you want to read about in the movie industry, go to PopcornMovieReview.com.
Fantastic website, very in-depth, and folks, the ratings, you're going to love it. My personal favorite rating, medium popcorn with butter. Check it out, Popcorn Movie Review, and we are back with the second half of our show. This is where you're going to get to know us a little bit better. We're going to tell you some of our some maybe deeper, darker things about sports, and what we're going to go into right now, and I'm going to start with the local pretty boy here, the richest one in the building, without a shadow of a doubt. Max Mannix, who right now is your least favorite or most hated,
Right now.
word, athlete?
Active player.
Active player in any sport.
Easy. NBA basketball. Paul Gasol. Love Mark. Could have a great family. You don't have to scream every time you go to the rim when a guard is guarding you. Ah! Ugh! I have Kobe. Pass him the frickin' ball. Let him do your thing. Win a championship. Stop whining. Get off the court, Paul Gasol.
Paul Gasol, okay, interesting. I'm actually going to stick in the NBA. Someone who would score the loudest 2 points if he was 1 for 20 from the field, the loudest 2 points you've ever heard. Kevin Garnett. Can't stand him. I used to be kind of impartial to him when he was at Minnesota, and then the minute he went to the Celtics, he was all of a sudden Mr. Boston, the second coming of Bill Russell.
This is our city.
And every time, even if he does, like a low post, wide open, left-handed layup, he always pulls his jersey over and nails his tattoo. And the anything is possible thing might have been one of the cheesiest and most set-up things in sports history. Because if you remember, he's sponsored by Adidas, who their slogan at the time was "Impossible is anything."
Mark, he was my close two. He goes down to the floor on an and one, and he's doing 5 push-ups. He's Kevin Garnett.
And he is just so phony. Was he ever like that in Minnesota at all? He was likable in Minnesota. I mean, he
wasn't in the news as much. Nobody watches anything Minnesota related.
He was a superstar. He is brutal. David Ortiz second, but I feel like Alan is just itching right now.
Well, I've always considered myself more of a lover than a hater, so I don't hate too many athletes. I was panning through some of the top 10 most disliked athletes, and this is collective opinions from across the country. You've got Tony Romo, you got Kobe, you've got...
What is wrong with Tony Romo?
Exactly, that's my point, man. You've got Tiger Woods, LeBron James. I've always specifically hated LeBron James haters. Maybe I'm not such a lover.
Alan, what you're naming right now is the best athletes in their respective sport.
Exactly, and that's why I disagree with this list wholeheartedly.
Except Tony Romo is not the best athlete in this sport.
Was he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
Absolutely not.
Is Joe Flacco?
No.
Let me tell you who I hate. Just a horrible, horrible human being, horrible quarterback, just awful, inaccurate, wild, all over the place. He puts his name out on the line for the worst type of folk. Aaron Rodgers is just a horrible, horrible human being and quarterback.
That is a very homer pick. So would you say your favorite commercials are the discount double check?
Oh, God.
Double check.
Yeah. When do you think they really had to twist those old SNL guys' arms to get back into TV business?
Oh, you mean I can get $20,000 for some Coke? Yeah.
Al just made fun of that list and then backed it up by naming the best athlete at his QB position as his hated athlete. Way to go, Al.
All right.
Hey,
So
you
that's
asked the question.
current sports. I was kind of hoping Alan would throw us like a NASCAR or whatever. I wanted to hear
Well-
I really hate Jimmy Johnson.
Kyle Busch was on this list, but truthfully, I don't even know who he is. So
He's one of the Bush brothers.
I couldn't really comment on him.
So that's us a little bit today. To get to know us a little bit further, our most hated athlete of all time. Max.
I have quite a few of them, Mark. I'll throw out a few names for you. Martin Gramatica.
Okay.
How come?
How come?
Yeah.
He ended his career on a field goal celebration. That's what got him out of football. 42-yarder.
Blows his ACL.
Bill Romanowski.
Okay.
Latrell Sprewell.
He's got
Danny Ainge.
Very well. Hey, Sprewell invented the...
Choke.
Sprewell invented
He choked his coach.
the tires that spin, the rims that spin
the spinners?
after you stop.
They spin it.
He invented those, so that's got to be a reason.
My favorite thing about Latrell Sprewell is he was the one who turned down, I can't remember the exact figure, but a multiple $1 million contract from whoever it was at the time, the Knicks, and his reasoning for turning it down was, I have to feed my family.
Yep.
He never played in the NBA ever again.
Yeah, that comment was classic.
Okay.
Danny Ainge, you said?
I don't know why.
Danny Ainge
maybe
is
it's just Boston.
Danny Ainge is a really hated guy.
How come?
Maybe I don't know. I've never. He was really annoying when he played in the NBA. He was kind of easy to hate. I'm not really sure why though. He was a football player too, pretty exceptional football player. He was a BYU guy, wasn't he?
I don't know. He just really burns my ass. But my most hated athlete of all time, easy. Barry Bonds. Ruined baseball,
that's a good one.
ruined all the records, went up a full hat size from a 7 to an 8 during his MLB career.
Did he really?
He played 22 seasons, set the all-time record at 73 home runs. How many other seasons did he hit over 50?
I don't know.
Well, I know he didn't hit over I don't think he hit over 30, 30 plus until he was in his later years, which is clearly not normal.
Okay, how many seasons over 50 after his 73 season?
Oh, after 73?
No, he hit 73 that one season. His whole career, the other 22 years, how many times did he hit over 50?
Twice?
0. 49 was his second most home runs. Are you kidding me? That guy ruined baseball.
Really?
Now Magic Johnson's trying to ruin baseball. Buying the LA Dodgers. Oh, man.
Everyone has
Can't
AIDS.
hate him for doing that.
AIDS,
What do you mean? He's spending the whole payroll on the Dodgers. Didn't work.
Yankees West.
Alan,
All right.
all-time most hated athlete.
I'm going to go to one that I believe we all hate. There's no arguing Mr. John Rocker.
Oh, Johnny Rocker.
Can I give you one of my favorite Johnny Rocker moments?
Yes, please.
The biggest thing I don't like about New York are the foreigners. I'm not a very big fan of foreigners. You can walk an entire block in Times Square and not hear anybody speaking English. Asians, Koreans, Vietnamese, Indians, Russians, Spanish people, and everything up there. How the hell did they get into this country?
Now,
That's a reason to hate a man right there.
now, is he from Montana? I can't remember.
I don't know, you might know. Is he, Mark?
No.
Oh, God, I thought you were claiming him for a second.
No.
Hey, John Rocker.
John Rocker, we go with racist.
What is his 40 time out of the bullpen to the pitching mound, though?
He was intense.
Hey, when you've got bottles being chucked at you from every angle.
Does he beat Deion Sanders in a 40?
Coming out of the bullpen.
Yep.
And it's not even, it's unbelievable. Man, I might have a lot of hate in my heart. There's a lot of people I hate. If I had to narrow it down, Sammy Sosa's up there. He's way up there.
Really?
Corked bat, steroids, everything about him. I really, really can't stand Shaquille O'Neal. Warren Sapp as well, but Shaquille O'Neal, I don't understand. The guy is, 7'2", 7'3", 7'4", something like that. He's a monster. Of course you should be good at basketball. You would have to be completely unathletic, and he's a dinosaur. And every time, the thing that bugged me probably the most is every time he would dunk it with his left hand, like, you're supposed to be the top-notch athlete. Anytime he'd dunk it with his left hand, he'd always do this stupid thing where he'd, like, run down court and stare at his left hand like he was, like, just the most athletic plays anyone's ever done. And you're in the NBA and you can't hit a free throw? What are you doing, man? If anyone on this planet was even remotely athletic at that size, they would put up the exact same numbers as Shaquille O'Neal.
Would you say the same for his acting career, though?
I mean, Shazam is Oscar snub.
Nothing against his acting.
Nothing against his acting or his rapping career.
This is him on the hardware.
Yes.
Will there be a more dominating center in the future than Shaquille O'Neal?
If someone is blessed to be that big. I mean, he wasn't talented. He was big. Big isn't a talent. It's just he's there. I can't stand Shaq. He's the worst. He's the worst kind of person.
And Sammy Sosa is a close two.
Yeah, he's up there.
Steroids, whole career, corked bat. And the media asked him about it. Sammy, are you on steroids? And his response was, I don't speak English.
Oh, God.
Brilliant.
It would have been better if he said, no hablo. But yes, I like it.
I don't speak English very well. Can you rephrase it in Spanish, please?
He speaks to a whole paragraph. Really hard words. And then one, and people that know me that are listening, which is I'm sure no one's left, Dan Marino. And I don't have a good reason. For the very first time I saw Dan Marino, when he played and then when he was in Ace Ventura, he just looks like one of those guys.
That's why you dislike him.
No. Well, the very first time I saw him, like, even doing an interview, I don't even remember. When I was a little kid, I was like, that looks like a guy I just want to punch in the face. I don't have any... He could be a great guy. I have no reason to hate him, but I don't like him.
Would you respect him more if he won a few Super Bowls?
It has nothing to do with that at all.
Do you think it would change your...
No, I don't. He is just the looks of him I don't like, and I have no real good reason to.
Yeah, it's super fair that you hate him. I mean, he's just a hard-working quarterback that never quite was on a good enough team to win the big game, but he was one of the best. So yeah, definitely hateable.
Had quite a few kids with quite a few women, though.
Yeah. So, Alan, I believe you had something to bring up about high school football.
I do. There's an interesting story out of New York State. Upper New York State, I believe. The Westfield Brockton Wolverines.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite Upper New York teams.
Their high school football team season is no more. A tragic death, which happened 3 days after one of their players suffered an on-field injury, and he lost conscious the day of the game. 16-year-old Damon James has passed away. Although the exact cause of death has not been made public, and it's not certain that it was due to that hit, it certainly would not have happened if he hadn't gotten that concussion a couple of days earlier, is what doctors have basically assumed. So, in consideration of the options that this school could do and could take to remember that injury and memorialize that injury, is canceling the season the very best way to move forward?
Not even close. Absolutely not. Life inherently is dangerous. You can't wrap kids in a bubble. Football, obviously, you know what you're signing up for. You have to get a waiver signed. They give you the whole spiel about helmets are dangerous. You're running as fast as you can and hitting someone else. That's what it is. That kid could have got a concussion walking down the street, not looking, and getting hit by a car.
I got a concussion riding my bike once.
I mean, I had plenty of bad injuries from football, but I would go back and do it all over again. Yeah, heartbeat.
But what about all of the parents that have claimed that this season should go on no more out of respect for that kid?
Well, do you really think that's what that kid would want? If that kid, obviously, God rest his soul, we have no idea what he's thinking, but if he was playing football, and all of us here have, it's a team game, that you're in it for the guys, you love being in the locker room, that whole atmosphere about everybody, one team, one goal. Do you think him, being wherever he's at right now, if he could look down and see the season's over, do you think, thanks for remembering me that way instead of winning one for the Gipper. Thanks for just canceling the season. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I'm glad I could end everyone's fun.
See, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I do think that they did the worst thing that they possibly could have done. Like you said, it's something that these young kids that are still alive, they could turn into a positive in a point in their lives when they probably need it. Canceling the season sends these kids home after school with nothing to do other than A, think about the teammate, friend that just died, B, smoke dope and get into trouble because, as we all know, sports are something that keep kids on the straight and narrow. So I agree 100%. I have come across, I have read opinions where people say this is the only way that you can memorialize this boy who died is by canceling this season, and they feel that any other opinion is disrespectful, and
it's not true. You do need to take a week off and figure it out. You can cancel one game and make it up. You can name the stadium after the kid, but injuries happen. If you play hockey, there's been deaths in hockey too. That just doesn't come up in the news because it's not as popular as football.
What if I were to tell you there was a vote and the kids themselves voted to no longer play?
I would be shocked if that was the case. If that was the case, this generation is softer than I thought, and I think they are downy soft as it is. There
apparently was a vote. I don't know if it was a split vote or what, but one of the kids who did vote to cancel the season, young Joey, 17 years old, he said he's played football since 3rd grade. He said he wanted to end the season because the game is no longer safe because the referees no longer throw flags.
Is he a wide receiver?
That sounds like something either a wide receiver or perhaps a quarterback would say.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I didn't think I wanted to hold this topic from you guys because I didn't want you to think about. I wanted to get your honest first impression, and I figured I assumed that you guys would both agree that you shouldn't cancel the entire season. It seems like overkill and also counterproductive.
And I think little Joey is just, why are you playing football then? What are you doing?
Yeah, you're right.
Why are you signing up for that? Go play soccer.
Every single
time. Go roll your ankle and go get barely hit and act like you broke a leg in soccer and be a hero.
Well, there's a truth to that. Every single time you put on the helmet and the pads, you're risking yourself to a certain degree.
Even in practice. Every time you put it on, it could be, and basketball, baseball, anything.
Every time you roll out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
And that goes to your first point.
It's just, life is unsafe. I think it's really stupid, and I hope that generations going forward, I hope there's more people like me, like us, that are willing to let their kids play football, because I know everyone's got to be safe, but you're going to get concussions. Max, have you had one?
2.
See, I've had at least one. You've had one. Not even playing football.
I had one playing football, though, too.
There you go. So we can't just put our kids in a bubble. Let them play it. The game teaches you so much more than, just being tough. So I would hate to see it get changed to something else.
There are people out there, though. Take Chubbs Peterson. Mama wouldn't let him sign the permission slip.
Who's that?
Chubbs, I believe, if you remember right, lost his hand in a terrible golf accident.
Damn alligator. Popped right up.
Damn it, I walked right into that one.
Yes, you did.
All right.
Yes, you did. So now thanks, Al, for bringing us down.
Seriously.
Hey, let's keep it lighthearted. A kid died, and little Joey wanted to cancel the season. I'm glad we could go there. Anyway, we're going to go on. I put together a couple different trivia questions, and this is also going to be the time of the week where we have a little soundbite for everyone to guess on, but we'll get to that in a second. 2 trivia questions I have for you guys. This actually turns out I had no idea what he was going to do. This rolls in beautifully. What sport causes the most eye injuries? And I'm going to give you multiple choice. Multiple choice.
Archery.
Archery is going to be one of mine. Darts.
No way.
Football. Basketball. Baseball or golf. Of those, what do you think?
No doubt. You would imagine. Let me quickly break down why I know what the answer is. Archery and darts are easy jump to conclusions. However, you're rarely professional archers and darters are rarely throwing towards somebody. It's basketball because fingers are flying around all the time, and you're often catching balls which are at eye level.
So Alan says basketball because
Emphatically.
the darters are too precise. Max.
I'll go golf.
Golf, and any reasoning, just shot in the dark?
Golf.
The answer, baseball. Baseball, over 400,000 eye injuries.
What?
Yes.
How?
Probably baseball is hitting you in the eye. I would guess either from
the old hop up from the grounder, huh?
the sneaky hop
Yeah.
and probably terrible pitching, like
Okay.
a certain someone from Gonzaga Prep. Now, Randy Moss, this is right up Minnesota's wheelhouse right here. Can you tell me, so he ended up playing at Marshall, everyone knows that. He had originally signed a letter of intent to play at one school, got into some legal issues, did not make it to that school, then redshirted a year at another major program before he got kicked out of there and went to Marshall. What are the first two schools? Two giant football programs.
Is this before or after McConaughey was coach at Marshall?
After. We Are Marshall. Check it out in theaters. I'm sure Alan has a great movie review, popcornmoviereview.com.
All right. The first one was a Florida school. I believe it was Florida State.
I'd go Ohio State.
First school was not either of those. Major program, cheer for old Notre Dame. Lou Holtz said Lou Holtz at the time said Randy Moss was the best high school football player he had ever seen.
No way.
Is that how he said it?
Yeah, well, I don't think he had as bad of a slur back then. Randy Moss, the best high school player I have ever seen.
Okay, Mike Mayock.
Second was Florida State.
Yeah,
He
okay.
redshirted at Florida
got it.
State.
Well, I got one of them.
You didn't let him say the second one.
Well, he had named the school, so I wanted to go there. And then just another fun fact, Max and I were talking a little bit about this. Randy Moss, Gatorade Player of the Year in 2 sports. What were they?
I know he was an elite basketball player. He had Jason Williams, formerly of the Sacramento Kings.
White Chocolate, Jason Williams.
Yeah, passing him the ball. And actually, if you want to look up some badass YouTube highlights, Jason Williams to Randy Moss in high school basketball
West Virginia.
owned the court.
I thought you were going to say some badass murder cases. Other Jason Williams, not related.
So it's got to be a football, basketball.
That is correct. That is correct. All right. So now that was fun. Does anyone have a soundbite for our fans?
I got a soundbite. I've got a soundbite. It's kind of a name, a movie soundbite of the week, if you will. And this is for you guys to take a guess at. And I'll give you some hints if you need them, but here we go to begin with.
Today,
Junior?
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
I have to go.
Any guesses?
I'm going to let Mark answer this one.
This is, I know the answer.
Mark is married,
I am
watches
married.
this every Sunday night.
Been together for over 7 years. I know you're not listening. The Notebook.
Damn, easy,
That
huh?
was super easy.
I had no clue.
You had no clue?
No idea.
He knew that he
That
wanted
was-
to throw it to me to seem a super hetero.
That was clearly Ryan Gosling. If you needed a clue, I was going to give the clue bearded babe.
And fun fact about that movie, you might know this, you might not. The director picked Ryan Gosling for that role because he didn't want someone too handsome.
No way!
Yeah,
But he's the most handsome actor in Hollywood.
maybe that role led
I
into that.
beg the differ.
Because if you remember, he was also in Remember the
Happy
Titans.
Gilmore accomplished that feat no more than an hour ago.
Do you remember Ryan Gosling in Remember the Titans?
I don't know.
Alan, you're in!
Oh, was he Sunshine?
No, he was Alan.
Oh, damn,
Remember
no.
his dad
Classic
freaked out?
white boy, not athletic high school football player.
His dad freaked out on the sidelines when they put in the guy who always fumbled.
Yost! Yost!
I don't remember
He's
that.
getting beat like he stole something.
All right. So now we are going to wind it down.
Where
here.
we at?
We are at the very end of the show, almost the very end.
Fans, go to our website, Alan. Why don't you give it to them one more time?
It's betterlucknextyear.wordpress.com. It's a long one, but it's worth the work. betterlucknextyear.wordpress.com. You'll find all the information that you need right there.
We got a comment section too. Drop a note. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Give us some feedback. Let us know how we did on episode 1, the pilot episode. And we'll be back next week. Mark, I'll let you finish it off.
All right, folks, and I think that was a fantastic, beautifully soft landing, a great way to end the show. We do want to thank our sponsors again. Thank you to the Brian Just Band for making this happen. And then Popcorn Movie Review. Go ahead and check that out, folks. Fantastic show. Thanks for sticking in with us. If there's anyone still listening, I'm sure, Dad, if you were tuned in, you can wake up now and turn off the computer. Thanks again, everyone. Believe big, and better luck next year.